Playing Hurt today, this is Conquest Sector 2. We're going to be looking at the feat progress that we made, the squads that I utilized throughout this sector, data discs, and then wrap up with a review of the boss nodes. Global feat progress, there's a few things to note here. One, we are now done with evade at least 200 attacks and battles you won. That one we were almost completed with during Sector 1. Qui-Gold does a lot of the heavy lifting there, but you want to be careful with his stamina. The other thing that we made a ton of progress on is win 20 battles with a full squad of Galactic Republic. We will talk a lot more about this. Sector 2, I think, is your best opportunity to make progress on that feat. Other than those, we are almost done with the challenge path to defeat enemies, but that happens on its own. Haven't touched dark side clones, and the rest of these feats are related to the bonuses that you get. Sector 2 feat progress, we have 3 out of 4 completed. Win 10 battles without losing any units. You can use anything, that's easy. Inflict buff immunity 40 times, inflict daze 40 times. Ideally, you want to use squads that are going to do both of those. We do need to note, though, that during the overview video, we thought bonus turns was going to be happening there. So the recommendations I was making in that overview video do not apply to this sector. We had to approach it differently. This last one, win 10 battles with Captain Silvo and Vane surviving. We performed a strategic retreat here. This is only worth 5, it's not worth a ton. And because of how much I used pirates in Sector 1, my pirates weren't very good in Sector 2. So Sector 2 becomes a very good opportunity to allow your pirates to recover stamina. And part of the reason I did that is because my Vane is also only 3 stars. And at the end of Sector 2, this is what my pirates looked like. I did try to use them a couple times with Ethano lead instead of Maz. I kept losing Vane in those battles, partly because I wasn't bringing along kicks for those revives. So my pirates just weren't very good. Maz Kanata is a great pirate leader, and you can really abuse them with how much stamina they have, because of how effective she is as a leader. She really carries the squad. But in Sector 2, this just didn't make sense, because what I really want are for my pirates to recover stamina so I can use them later in Sectors 4 and 5 in particular, because Sector 3 is another opportunity where you can let stamina recover. There are other ways to handle those feats, at least until I take a look at them, because maybe some of these other feats are wrong from the data mine. Sector 2 squads, there's a few different things that I utilized here, but Galactic Republic are going to be your best option. I used a couple different Galactic Republic squads, first with JMK, and I have Anakin here for the buff immunity. He applies it on basic, so you just want him to use the basic all the time. You want to call assist with him so that he can apply that buff immunity. So Kenobi is calling assist, the ultimate is calling assist, Shaak Ti is calling assist. But if you haven't completed days, you just swap in Gas into one of these slots, either Shaak Ti or Cat, and Gas has an AoE days that will contribute towards that feat. Shaak Ti I still like because she has that assist call onto Anakin. But you don't want to get too depleted in stamina, so you can also use a Cadme squad. You can keep Anakin and Skywalker in here. You have another daze coming from Redirected Blast, but this is targeted, so that's not going to bring up the counts there. Skywalker for that AoE daze, and then Anakin can remain in the squad. And then between the two of them, you're winning the 10 battles without losing any units, and you're very quickly accumulating the dazes and buff immunities, as long as you're prioritizing Anakin's basic. Notably though, I was not using Jedi Master Mace Windu, and that is because his buff immunity is not actually all that reliable. It comes from his unique ability, and it is whenever the enemy dispels, he AoE inflicts an unresistible buff immunity. It sounds like that would be something that is strong and effective, but I found it to be very unreliable in how often it happened. I used like a up against a Mon Mothma squad, and it wasn't even triggered. You will see it being used though on the mini boss node in the footage. But it's also not the best squad to use, because this squad is going to be important to later sectors. So I don't want to be depleting the stamina on this Jedi Master Mace squad when I want to utilize them later, and I don't need to use this squad. There's no benefit to it. But if you're looking for another great option, it is this Empire squad. And this is how I actually completed the days, and why I didn't have to worry about days with my Galactic Republic. It was already taken care of. And that is because this squad, even though you would think you don't want to use Lord Vader because you want to use him you want to use him in sectors 3 or 4 or 5, you're only going to use him once or twice, so he will have the time to recover stamina. And that is because this squad has 3 AoE dazes. We have Unshackled Emotions with an AoE daze, we have Suborbital Strike with an AoE daze, and we have Ninth Sister's Ground Pound with an AoE daze. So that's at a minimum 15 dazes in a single battle, and more likely you're going to get to 20 or 25 in a single confrontation before you win it. And then we have TIE Fighter Pilot with an AoE buff immunity with his TIE Strike. And then we have Imperial Super Commando. This is just targeted though, has a targeted buff immunity. So you can get maybe 6, maybe more buff immunities from this squad. It'll knock off days almost immediately, but you'll have to bring in some other squads to handle the buff immunity later. That's when I switched to the Galactic Republic. Data discs, I didn't make any changes, but we did collect a few new good ones. Booming Voice is from a feat. That one is now completed, but that pairs amazingly with defensive formation. If I can find a blind side to add to it, it gets even better, because now I'm getting exposes from attacks out of turn on top of all of that protection recovery and Booming Voice to ensure that we're triggering those attacks out of turn. I have a 3-star blue critical tactics, which I'll probably swap in at one of these points. And I have a couple new blues with vitality and last rites. Last rites I grabbed because since we're using some of these pirate characters, these marquees that are lower in stars, and some of them are at gear 12, this becomes useful to making sure we have the survivability we need. I just haven't tested how it works with kicks, if this is going to interfere with kicks mechanics or not. Sector 2 mini boss, we have the win with Jedi Master Mace Windu in the squad. You either have him or you don't. And we have win with a full squad of pirates. We begin with the Mace squad. This is all very easy. They don't have a tank, so you can just go after Grand Inquisitor right away. Just land a couple debuffs. We have Provoke, we have the Shatter Point, and we quickly eliminate the Grand Inquisitor. Now I'm going after 7th Sister. 7th Sister, I think, is the next important piece for this squad's survivability. Removing those heals makes them a ton weaker, and those assist skulls from 7th. And it just quickly falls apart. Pretty easy. Pirates will be harder because I was depleted in stamina. With our pirate squad, we're using Maz Kanata lead because she is the best leader if you don't have Pirate Honda. And you can see I am still weak with Maz, Kix, and my Silvo and Vane are a little depleted at this stage. But they're able to still quickly handle, well, maybe not so quickly. I think this may have taken a few minutes. I don't completely recall, but we do fine. And I do think I lose Vane here at some point. Yeah, so we lose Vane once. I'm not using his second special. I'm trying not to use his second special because that triggers the taunt, and I definitely don't want my 3-star Vane taunting. Now going after 7th. Getting a little worried we're going to lose some characters. Now we lost Vane. Waiting for Kix's turn to come back so that we can do our revive. And then he is pretty healthy after that. Now 3 characters down. I don't mind taunting as much now because everyone, we have an advantage. Removing turn meter. That's a targeted remove turn meter, so just pay attention to who you're targeting. Fifth about to go down, and now 8th. For our final boss nodes, we have Win using only Kylo Ren, and dots using a Vader Wampa squad with Grand Admiral Thrawn BB-8 and Commander Luke Skywalker. Now we will talk about my Kylo and his modding. The other team doesn't matter. So my Kylo's not amazing. It's 5 mods. We have speed of 218. He's not bad, he's not good. But I do have okay-ish mods. I've got some offense, I've got crit damage, I've got speed. So nothing too special here, should be very replicable. And going into this battle, this is our Grievous with droids. You're just going to be using AoEs to bring him down. They made this stuff so easy. Maybe too easy. Because I don't like when things are so easy it's just busy work. I'd like to have a little bit of a challenge, but I don't think they've tuned this stuff since Relics. I mean, it's obviously different because we don't have like the health bar. Next we have our Vader squad with Wampa. They're going to have the dots. The other characters, they would be controlling turn meter. It's not actually relevant to this battle because none of that happens. You're just going to see Vader wreck. We get those dots. We throw a saber. I don't know why I'm not throwing it at B2 first. That's what I should do. I don't know. Who knows what I was thinking at that time. Easy. That takes care of Sector 2. We will be back soon with Sector 3. I'm going to try and get that out later today, and then Sector 4 will be showing up soon as well. We're just rushing through this so that I can provide help to anyone who needs it. In the corner, we have my Feat overview video. Just keep in mind there have been changes from that, so not all of it applies. And then down below, we have my Datacron video for anyone who wants ideas on how I think about those Datacrons. And this is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. Be excellent to each other, everybody.